and welcome back into my kitchen. Now today what I would like to do is transform your next cheese board or dip platter by showing you how easy it is to make your own water crackers. Now I don't call them water crackers, I call them culinary bark because that immediately makes them sound much more important. And once I show you how easy these are to make, you are going to make them again and again. Not only are they easy to make, but they are also very quick and reliable. So you can either make them in advance or just before you need them. Now these are so easy to make, in fact, that I'm going to show off and make you two different types of culinary bark because we can quite easily match whatever pate or cheese or dip that we are serving our water biscuits with. And for example, if you're choosing to serve it with a fish pate, I could then add things that would match our fish. So things like lemon zest and dill fronds and lovely fierce black peppercorns, and that would really offset your fishy dip. I could also do something for a lovely creamy brie or a camembert, maybe some fresh rosemary and some sexy charcoal, which is definitely trending at the moment. Or I could make it more Asian style, where I would add some chili and some lime, and I could really go around the world with my water crackers. So the base recipe is extremely easy to remember. So what we need is just 1 cup of plain flour and 100 mils of liquid. Now, you can just use 100 mils of water with a pinch of salt and be done with it. But if you want them to be a little bit more luxurious, what I would then do is take 80 mils of water and just top it up to the 100 mil mark with some melted butter. Now that butter would make them gorgeous and very tasty. If butter is not your thing, of course we could do exactly the same. So 80 mils of water, and then just put in a very beautiful extra virgin olive oil, and that would be gorgeous in your crackers. Now the next thing we want to do is put some very glamorous culinary accessories into our flour here and really make these our own. So what I'm going to do is I've got these gorgeous black salt flakes. Now these are naturally occurring black salt flake, and they come out of Cyprus. But if you don't have the fancy black salt flakes, what you can do is head to your pharmacy and get charcoal tablets. You will see a lot of cocktails and a lot of pasta dishes asking for a charcoal tablet, and you would just head down to your pharmacy to get them. What I've done is I've just got 2 of the little tablets into my pestle and mortar, and you're just going to bash them down and get them into a nice fine powder, and then add it to your flour mix. So once I've got these into a nice fine powder, and of course I'm totally showing off, so of course you can do them plain without this charcoal powder, and a really nice combination would be just cracked black peppercorns and rosemary, but this is definitely taking it to the next level. Now I've got some beautiful rosemary out of my garden. I'm just going to take some of that off there. And as beautiful and as fresh as this is, I definitely am going to use my scissors here just to make a bit of a rosemary gravel, a nice fine little bit of rosemary, rather than having the big pieces. It's just going to sheet better, look better, and also eat better. So that is going to be our one designer batch of culinary bark. And into the second one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add into that flour a little bit of turmeric. Now turmeric will make these beautiful and yellow, and very good for you as well. Not much flavor, so it won't have much of a flavor contrast, but definitely a little bit of water biscuit bronzer. I'm also going to pop in some black peppercorns, and you would need to have crushed black peppercorns. Don't put them in whole. And then I also wanted to put something nice and colorful in, so I'm going to use my gorgeous dried rose petals and pop those in, and that'll give us little jewels of pink when we do sheet this out. Now, like I said, very easy recipe. 1 cup of your plain flour and then 100 mils of liquid, all in, just throw it together. These are really simple to make. And then instead of putting my hands in there, because I don't like to get my little hands dirty, I'm just going to bring this together using a strong spoon. So this one is coming together nicely, and I'm going to do exactly the same with our second batch. And if it is a little bit too wet or a little bit too dry, say your measurements were off for some reason, instead of throwing it away, just if it is too wet, add a bit more flour. And if it's really dry and difficult to handle, you have my permission just to add a little bit more liquid. Now this spoon will just about bring the dough together, but I am going to put my hand in here. It's really much safer. It's not going to really stick to me as much as if I'd done it right from the beginning. And just using a nice, strong, firm press, just bring your gorgeous water cracker mixture into a sexy little dough ball, and I will show you what we will do with this next. Now I'm also just doing exactly the same with our lovely charcoal dough here, and just bringing it together in the bowl just for like a rough kneading. And then what I'm going to do is, whenever you're handling dough, I always recommend having a little bit of flour for dredging your surface, because we definitely don't want this sticking to the counter. It can become very annoying and very stressful. Then what I'm going to do is, you can see here that I'm just kneading it quite lightly. This is not like a bread dough or a pastry dough where it needs to be kneaded for a particular amount of time. I'm just bringing it together so that all of our sexy ingredients are nicely mixed through the dough. And then, like I said in the beginning, these are terribly easy to make, and as you can see, not very expensive either. So a cup of flour and 100 mils of water is certainly not going to break the bank, and you know how much they charge you for the pre-made one, so you are just about to save yourself a fortune. So we've got our lovely yellow dough, and look at the contrast we have here already. I could also just do a green one. If I wanted to do a green batch, I could of course use some pureed spinach, and if you wanted pink, you could of course cook down some beetroot, puree that up and use that liquid through the dough, and you would have beautiful natural colorings. So the next thing we need to do is roll these into our water crackers. Now, if you've got a pasta machine, you can do that, but I like to make bespoke culinary bark, lovely, long and elegant. And all I do is take off about a teaspoon or just a little bit more of the dough, roll it into a nice little neat dough ball, and then I'm just rolling it into a little sausage or a cylinder, making sure that there is plenty of flour down. I'm now going to use, and you see I flour everything, and then at least you live happily ever after in your kitchen without anything sticking. What I'm going to do then is pick it up, and I'm trying to get this as long and as elegant and as sophisticated as I can, so that my guests and my friends and family know I made this by hand. So you can see that as I'm rolling them, I'm actually picking this up, I'm turning it over, and that's just so that it doesn't stick to the counter, because that can be quite stressful. All I'm going to do is roll a few of these straight onto a baking sheet, and we're going to go into a lovely swear word hot oven of about 220 degrees Celsius, and these will cook in about 5 to 8 minutes. So guys, these really excite me, because as cheap as they were, they are extremely sexy. Now, just to check that they are done when you take them out of the oven, is we do not want a soggy water cracker. Cracker is the objective here. We want it to be nice and brittle. So you can imagine when you bite into it, it's got a crunch. So what we can do now, and I've got this beautiful cheese board set up. These are our charcoal crackers, where I left a bit of the flour on, and they're looking nice and natural. And then we've got our jet black crackers as well. Now what I like to do is arrange them in, especially for height, either in a sexy little bowl, or this terracotta pot is one of my favorite things to do. And what we can also do then is, of course, serve it with a dip or a cheese of your choice. But one of my favorite things to do, especially with these yellow ones, where remember I said would be great with Mediterranean flavors, is what we're going to do is, taking my little ash brie, I'm actually going to drizzle this with just a little bit of honey. So a bit of honey, I'm going to bake it for 10 minutes until it goes ridiculously oozy. It's going to be like an instant fondue. And then I'm also going to put some pistachio gravel over there and serve it with my crackers. Guys, enjoy making these your own. And as you can see, they are terribly easy to make.